Hello, welcome to the second episode of the Hera Press Box podcast. Myself, Clay, and
Alyssa.
Clay and Alyssa have started. This is our second episode. First one we did last Sunday. I think went pretty well. It's up on YouTube, and eventually we'd like to put that into a podcast, but we're still figuring some things out, still trying to figure out how to not just show me the entire time, but
No way. Well, right now, my main screen's flipping between the both of us, so hopefully that's good news. I don't know.
okay.
It's technology.
Maybe some technological progress being made before our own eyes. Who knows, right?
Right.
So we have a few different sports to cover, topic from 3 or 4 different sports that we're going to try to get to today. And the first one we're going to start off with is an article from the Chicago Tribune, and it was talking about a roadblock that female athletes have to deal with, and kind of talks about if that's no longer becoming an issue, or are females changing their career paths to handle that roadblock. And I'm going to turn over to Alyssa, and she can say what she wants to say about that.
Yeah, so just going back to our last podcast, kind of talking about, you had asked the question of, do I think female athletes will retire later? Kind of what's going on with that. And I took the assumption of, yes, they're gonna retire later, because they're not going to want to have children necessarily in their prime, which we're kind of already seeing isn't the case. Look at Serena, look at Sydney Leroux. So these two in their prime, maybe Sydney's just was on the cusp of her prime, because she's killing it in the NWSL right now from what I've seen and from what I've heard so far. Obviously, Serena was in her prime, pretty much unbeatable. But I think the important thing that the article pointed out, that yes, your body's going to be different for females. It's going to be different whether you want to say that or not. It's going to be. But there are so many questions around it of like, are you going to come back? Why would you come back? There's so many more doubts than with, let's just say, an ACL tear. A lot of athletes and a lot of female athletes are more prone to an ACL tear than counterparts. So it's just interesting to see how much doubt that she actually had, to see that it happened. She ended up having, I do believe in college, her boy in college. So that was really interesting to see. That was just the beginning. And maybe that's what maybe the better plan would be. I don't know. Obviously, that's up to the individual. You look at Candace Parker, she had her child earlier on in her career. So that was interesting as well. But that was my main kind of takeaway, is that just there was so much negativity towards Sarah, and she was able to shut it out. Whereas maybe, I don't know, obviously individual basis, if people will be able to handle that negativity. And kind of going along with your question back in last podcast about retirement age, I think the advancements in the medical area have really helped out with being able to prolong your career. I mean, look at Serena. She's 35, maybe, somewhere in there. The fact that she's still playing at such a high level at that age is incredible, and it speaks to her training. It speaks to the people around her who get her ready day in and day out. And we'll see what she comes back next year with. I'm assuming she's going to be just fine, is my assumption. She's so much of a competitor that I don't see that being an issue at all whatsoever. So I've been talking for a while. Do you have anything?
No, that's everything you say, I'd agree with. In the medical side of things, it talks in that article. There were 2 or 3 athletes, and they talked about how just a couple weeks after giving birth, they were right back to training, and it's the advancement is ridiculous, but at the same time, really, really cool to see.
Right. And I think it's only going to get obviously better, and the the medical standpoint from having a child and then coming back, it has significantly improved. It's also improved with being able to have a child later on in life. You weren't hearing of people having children at Serena's age. You weren't hearing of people having children at, 38, 39, 40 for women. It wasn't a thing. And now it's not the easiest thing to be done still, but the chances are way higher than they used to be.
Yeah. And that whole thing probably changes their perception of female athletes, right, and female sports, and it adds a toughness factor that it's on the surface that you see you see a Cindy LaRue out there who's having a solid season so far after giving birth, and you just kind of think, one, what a trooper, two, that's impressive that she's doing that.
And it speaks to just how freakishly athletic she is, and how her training after she had her child has just been significant to where she was able to come back and hit the ground running, essentially. And it's going to be, I'm really excited to see Serena come back. I think she'll be back. I think they said she's going to be out for the rest of the year. So that includes US Open, and then pretty much it goes into the off season after that. So hopefully Australian Open is when she'll be back, is when I expect her to be back, I guess, barring anything significant outside of, injury and having a kid and things like that. Because obviously that's always plays a part in things.
Right. Well, I guess there's not a great transition to the next topic, but I guess you could say that what we've been talking about so far can shine a great light on female athletes, and like I talked about, their toughness, and they come back from that, bounce back, and it's a good story to tell, a good story to listen to, a good story to watch. And next, I kind of want to talk about maybe something that's kind of the opposite, and that's fantasy. The fantasy world coming into female athletes. WNBA signed the deal with FanDuel. I think it's with FanDuel.
Okay.
And I'm not a big fantasy guy for any kind of sport. It all kind of degrades the sport for me. And people do fantasy, and then they do the sports just because they have that fantasy guy, and they don't whatever they used to do, I guess. And so I wanted to bring up that is it good or bad for the one, WNBA, and two, is that it will expand and be fantasy. Now there are fantasy sports for NWSL, but it's a very unprofessional sort of way, in that you're kind of just it's free to do, and I think you can win money if you have so many points at the end of the year, but it's 7,000, 8,000 people playing it, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
And me and my roommate last year, we played it just kind of do it for fun, to learn the players, learn who's doing what in the league, and that was cool. Then also I found out that softball, the professional softball league, fantasy league, fantasy game, but it's just you predict what the outcome of the play is and stuff like that. So it's kind of just definitely just for fun, unlike this FanDuel deal with the WNBA. Any opinions?
My first opinion is, and I've never really been a big fantasy person either. I mean, I've done fantasy football for like 2 years, but that was pretty much it. My first reaction is that it would be good because it's going to draw a crowd that they aren't necessarily drawing now because of what you just said earlier. People do it just because they can either win money, or they're watching the sports because they're paying attention to a particular person. And you hear that all the time, whether between our friends or someone sitting next to us at a bar or something, where they're just cheering for one specific person. So in that aspect, yes, it's positive. Could be negative sides to it, just like there's negative sides to the popular fantasy football right now. I mean, there's always going to be negatives to something like that at the end of the day.
Right. And I guess eventually, if that becomes so popular, the fantasy side of like a WNBA, maybe there's a game that's being bet on so much, or people are paying so much attention to, that starts to draw the prime time of a Tuesday, Wednesday night, and that's what's on TV, and draw more interest from even the people just kind of flipping through the channels and stopping on that game. So
yeah, I think it's definitely could be used as an educational tool, like you and your roommate did. Not necessarily sure everyone would use it that way, though.
Right. And again, no great transition into the next topic, but it's sort of a different scope of whatever you want to call that, of entertainment, I guess, entering this sport, and kind of two different worlds mixing together, sort of like Barcelona potentially coming over into the NWSL and either buying a team or creating their own team. So that's those. It's right now it's two different possibilities. Their board of directors at Barcelona have approved for further involvement, development of such a proposition to the NWSL. NWSL is all for it. Former commissioner Jeff Plush said he was all for expansion of he wanted two teams. He never wants there to be an odd number of teams. So a couple years ago he said two. Well, he's out now, but offer's still on the table, I'm sure. Barca's there wanting to pick up a team or maybe add a team. Something interesting to think about is Barca does have academies in the U.S. They have 6 of them. They are in Orlando, who already has a team, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, so 3 Florida locations, and they also have one in Atlanta, who just added an MLS team, I believe, right?
Yeah,
I think. Yep. So that's
a possibility.
Maybe a city to keep an eye on as far as a new team. There's a camp in Maryland, one in New Jersey, which you have the Sky Blue there, and then one in Houston where the Dash are, and also another camp in Dallas. So those are some names, some cities to think about. Also, they just opened a camp in San Diego, which Jeff Plush, before he left, said that California was the next dream location that we're in the NWSL wanted to go to. So those are some things to think about. As far as if this is possibility, if this would improve the league, what this would do to the league. Any quick opinions?
I want to hear your quick opinions first.
I think I'm all for expansion. We're at a stage right now where I think the league has it's becoming more popular. As far as quality players, I think you have enough to where you can go 2 more teams and not thin out the competition too much. I mean, if you can keep 2 star players on every team, then that's plenty to draw the fan base in. Yeah. So, why not? There does come a point where I think it's too much, but geographically speaking, and interest level speaking, and talent wise, I think NWSL is fully capable of expanding to 2 more teams.
Right. And I'm totally in agreement with you. I think Atlanta would be a perfect spot for them to go. I don't think Dallas is bad either. They have an MLS team there right now. So I like that kind of how it coincides where you have both teams, because at least you have some interest there for at least the sport. Same thing in LA. I think it would be awesome to have an NWSL team out in LA, because I think the former commissioner was exactly right. I think LA is that dream place because you're simply in LA, so you're going to be getting the media attention. You're going to be getting the bulk of it. So at least with that team, I would want that team to have a winning record, let's say. Just because if they're going under 500, even for 2 years, it's not looking too good. And I think you bring up a good point about slimming out the talent that we have. And I think that's the biggest concern that I would have. Right. Because would be pulling I don't want to say people off the street, but people who maybe, so let's say, for instance, a Kaylin Kyle, she gets let go by the Pride and she's not playing with anyone right now. Are we pulling those type of people who are getting caught right before the season? Are we pulling players from overseas who are playing overseas?
Right. Or even more Mallory Pughs. Are we getting people out of college?
Right. Yeah, but then you get into trouble are we going to pull people? That's a good point. Are we going to pull people who are still in college? How can we pull people who are still in college without going against NCAA rules, which I doubt they would be able to do because it's a professional league? And like you said, we're essentially pull them straight out of college. Like, you're done, you're not going type of situation. That would be actually kind of interesting to see. And then you bring up the money situation, because adding 2 more teams, what does the salary look like? Are we increasing that? Are we decreasing it? Type of thing. Because, the salaries in the NWSL essentially don't work like any other professional league at least that I know of. I mean, I don't know that much about the NWHL. I think the NWHL and the NWSL are actually kind of the same thing, where their international team is paying their salary. And I don't think it's like that for the WNBA, at least. So that would just be interesting to see. Are you pulling, Hinkle, let's just say you pull Hinkle and you put her in LA, even though she's not necessarily consistent on the national team, is she still getting paid by the national team, or is she getting kind of that separate salary that people who aren't on the U.S. or Mexico, and I think the Canadian team, I think it's those 3 countries that are getting paid from their national team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that'll throw a whole new wrinkle into things if that does happen. So, and the report is that they are willing to get a team going by 2018, so we could be months away from hearing some kind of announcement. So,
well, I think it's interesting that both of those options are on the table, of them essentially moving their team here. So how would that play out, kind of?
So it would be a brand new team.
So it would be, so it would just be like,
they would sponsor them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. And and pay whatever. I'm sure their jerseys would probably look the same as their jerseys, right? But that's
I kind of like that second option better, to be quite honest.
Yeah. So, and I know I brought this up to you last time, and this is something that I kind of go crazy with and spend probably too much of my own time creating scenarios. So what I did, well, since we have to create 2 new teams, Barca has one, obviously. Well, what are we going to do with that other team? Well, it's obviously one of my dreams to own an NWSL team. So I created some teams here, and these are probably a couple months old. So it's been a while. They're still in the It was months, but so they're still in the works. But I do want to run through these just in case anybody's watching that, knows somebody who knows somebody that could get these offers on the table. And it's backwards, right?
No, I can read it.
Is that backwards?
No.
Okay, so first we have the Cincy Queens.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously going to be that was weird looking out around the paper, but Cincy Queens, based in Cincinnati. You see the tiara on top of the soccer ball with a Q in the middle. That would be their logo tiara, because that is the Queen City, which is why they are the Queens.
Oh, good job.
Cincinnati is probably my 3rd favorite city behind Chicago and Madison, Wisconsin. So it's a 3-hour drive for me. I'd make that every game, no problem.
Yeah.
Then another possibility, Louisville Mares, obviously dedicated to the horse racing that takes place in Louisville. There you have the horse with his hoof on the soccer ball and the L on the soccer ball.
That's actually pretty good. That's pretty clever.
Thank you. And then kind of the boring one of the 4 is the Midwest FC, and just the arch there. There would be a station. in St. Louis and that's a net there on the arch. And not a huge fan of St. Louis, so that's why they're not called St. Louis FC. That's why they're Midwest
They're
FC.
the Midwest.
They could represent the entire Midwest. Obviously, they would have a great.
But
They'd have a really good rivalry with FC KC, so that's a possibility. And finally, the Indy Hearts. That is the Indianapolis State, Indianapolis state flag. But instead of I think it's a circle in the center because it's the Circle City. It is a heart with a soccer ball design on it, and the Hearts comes from Indianapolis being in the heartland of the United States. So all those four are kind of located near me and would allow me to, go to every game, which would be nice for me since I can only make it up to a handful of Red Star games. But that's a dream right there. Like I said, if anybody knows anybody who knows somebody.
Who might know somebody.
There's a few options for them.
Yeah, those are pretty good options. I like it. I think the Louisville one is my favorite one.
Louisville. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we can work. I don't know if any of those cities have already professional soccer teams. Indy has the Indy 11s, and Indy 11, and I think they do pretty well as far as being popular there. So that's all right. But yeah, we'll see how that goes for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we did last week was I ran through, give an update on kind of the scores and how things are going. We'll recap this last week. I'll do that right now, run through, take a few minutes, and get you caught up on what's been happening so far. So the French Open rolls on without my favorite players. 6th-ranked Dominika Cibulkova goes down in straight sets. Canadian Eugenie Bouchard gets skunked in the second and loses to 17th-ranked Sevastova.
Oh, she did lose.
Caroline Wozniacki keeps on sweeping both sets though. So that I got one going for me, and she'll face the 18-year-old American CC Bellis tomorrow.
Who do you got? Who do you want? Who do you got?
Caroline. I want Caroline to win. I didn't look to see how many unforced errors her opponent had today, but I imagine. I mean, Caroline plays. Whoever. Right. If you're playing Caroline, you're going to beat yourself because she's not going to hit it past you. Which, I think that Caroline will win. Me. Right? Yeah, I think Wozniacki has just because 18-year-old. I think the age comes into play, and Wozniacki should be able to handle her. I believe. Right. Continuing, Bethany Maddox Sands carries the red, white, and blue over 15th-ranked Petra Kvitova. Venus Williams advances with another straight set win, and American Madison Keys, ranked 12th in the world, loses in 3 sets.
She's 12th.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
is that her highest ranking?
It has to be.
Huh.
It has to be. And to throw in a quick prediction, I do have my favorite to win. I don't know if you saw my tweet about it.
I did not. I don't think I'm gonna like it though. But yes.
Let me see if I can pronounce her name right. Kristina Mladenovic from France.
From France. You're not even going with an American?
Mladenovic has looked very solid in both her matches so far, and even if she drops off a little bit, I don't see anybody stopping her. Cibulkova was in that bracket, and Dominika's gone now, so that opens the door for the hometown Frenchie to go pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
Action in OKC started today at the College World Series. Alicia Ocasio hit a 3-run bomb, and Florida won by the run rule. LSU beats UCLA on a couple of calls that didn't go UCLA's way. Washington beat Oregon 3-1, and currently Oklahoma is winning. If they hold on, I am 4 for 4 so far on my updated bracket prediction. The first place Cougar. That's kind of close to Courage.
Yeah.
And on that shirt, it has a cougar on it.
Yeah, you're just trying to cover it up.
I am. The first place Courage in North Carolina are on Lifetime Saturday playing against FC Kansas City. 3 other games are on slate for Saturday, with Chicago and Seattle capping the weekend on Sunday. 4 Red Stars were named to the NWSL Team of the Week, along with 3 Sky Blue members, one being goalkeeper Kaylin Sheridan, and that name is brought up by me right now because I do need to make a couple predictions about what's that?
I said on purpose. It was brought up on purpose.
Brought up on purpose by me because I need to make a couple of predictions before they before they become the stars that I think they're going to. And I've really liked the way Sheridan played. I liked her coming out of Clemson. I would not be surprised to see her on the national team before too long.
Ooh.
A couple other players that I've been impressed by are Newfield with FCKC, who just scored her first goal of the league last week, I do believe, and already on her way to stardom is Rocky Rodriguez, who I'm sure we'll talk about more in the future. But the Puerto Rican is off to an incredible start again this year, Rookie of the Year, and she has a lot more accolades coming her way. The Sparks, Mystics, and Dream picked up victories on Wednesday. Another 20-point performance from Karimi Christmas Kelly led the Wings to another win. And tonight, the Phoenix Mercury used Diana Taurasi's 37 and 8 of 14 from behind the arc to beat the Sky in Chicago. Taurasi needs 1-3 to take the all-time lead and needs 19 points for second place on the all-time scoring list. She tied the 3-point record tonight and needs one more to break it.
She needs...
Pro Fast Pitch started their season tonight with the reigning champion Chicago Bandits beating Akron 3-2. Emily Carosone drove in the game-winning run in the bottom of the 7th, and Haley Wagner, the Michigan product, picked up the victory.
Hey, yo.
So that season's underway, so be ready to talk about that, right?
Yeah, because I got so much time on my hands.
Right. Okay, so we have maybe 10 minutes to run through a lot of things. Go ahead.
She broke it.
She broke it?
Yeah, she broke it. I think it was the first 3. It was her first 3 of the game.
Okay.
I thought I saw that she tied it, and then I thought I saw she broke it, and then I wasn't sure.
I guess WNBA.com should update their stuff, including the article just read about the game.
If you would get on Instagram, maybe you would be updated as well. They know how to update Instagram.
Well, I figured you would write an article after the game, and if that happened, you would put in that she broke the record. But what am I? We're just on a podcast. Right, yeah, exactly. That's pretty difficult.
Newbie podcast.
But like I said, we have 10 minutes, and for some reason we have a lot of little things we want to run through.
Yep.
The first thing we want to run through is a all-time. Did you go all-time favorite 11 or all-time great 11?
Oh, that's way two different things. Well,
right.
It's a combination of both, but I would definitely say I would have a different lineup if it was all-time favorite.
Right. Me too.
So
I went all-time great, and I went all-time great because of the injury that occurred today.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you cannot say
oh no
that. I mean, she's falling off the fence of never having a chance to be on that team, and that's why I want to make this list, and I want to see where you rank her.
So I made my list.
Uh-huh.
Then I went to Google and I was like, I wonder if they have like greatest 11 for the national team. Guess what? They do. And guess what? She's on it.
Yeah, imagine that.
And I was a little bit surprised.
As you should be, because she shouldn't be on it.
No, I don't think she should be on it.
And Alex Morgan. We haven't said her. And I wore the shirt just because.
You do have her jersey. Cute.
What jersey is that? You have one.
It's just a blank jersey.
Oh.
That's why I need a jersey.
Scrub.
Yeah.
Yep, I wore this jersey. There was never a bigger Alex Morgan fan than I was when I bought into the hype the first year and a half that she was relevant. Now
she is still very relevant.
I know. I'm saying whenever she just came onto the scene.
Yeah.
But now, yeah. I'm kind of glad she's just opened the door for another forward, including Ashley Sanchez.
I was wondering when you were going to name drop her. I was waiting for it.
She won't get called up. Ashley Hatch should get called up first before Sanchez does.
Let's not talk about who should be getting called up and who shouldn't be getting called up, because we're going to need more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Just besides Danny Calaprico needs called up.
Yeah. Jeez, no kidding.
Okay. Greatest 11 of all time. Who's your goalie?
You should know this.
Yeah, because it's the same answer as mine, even though I didn't want to.
You put her? Really?
Yeah, I put her over Scurry.
Oh my gosh, I'm so surprised. I thought for sure we would be different on that one.
Yeah, Hope Solo, greatest goalie of all time. It pains me.
I think even overall, she should be considered one of the greatest keepers of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
With a bum shoulder half the time.
Yeah.
She was a brick wall.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I'm done with that. Back line.
Did you go 4-3-3?
I went 4-4-3, yes.
Oh, you went 4-4-3. Okay.
What'd you say? What'd you do?
I did 4-3-3.
Oh, 4-3.
That's okay. That helps me out.
Because who would I get rid of? Actually, I can go 4-3-3. I just picked 4 midfield, I guess, because there's too many midfielders that I like.
Right.
But
that's exactly why I said I could go with.
But let's go 4-3-3. I can knock off one of my midfields.
Okay.
And I'll tell you who that is. I'll knock off Tobin Heath.
Okay, because she was. I have an honorable mention list.
Yep.
And she's the first one on it. So
okay, my back line is in order: Rampone.
Yep.
That's the greatest defender U.S. has ever had.
Yep.
Becky Sauerbrunn.
Yes, sir.
Next, and then Joy Fawcett.
Yes, sir.
And Carla Overbeck.
See, so we were good. So I had a tie between Brandy Chastain and Carla. And I started to lean Brandy, but I really like Carla as well. So that one was pretty much a tie for me. If I had to pick, I would probably go with Chastain.
Okay, that's solid. Yeah, that's all right. Midfield, if you don't have anything to go for.
Nope.
Okay, midfield for me. Number 1, obviously, Mia Hamm. No question about it.
Okay.
Even though you put Carly Lloyd, who's second on my list. Is that who you put?
Well, I put Mia up top.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That could actually. No, that's not going to help me out, actually. I was just kidding. Keep going.
All right. Christine Lilly is my third midfielder then.
So you got Mia and Christine Lilly and who?
Carly.
Okay. So I had Mia up top as a forward.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I had Carly, of course. Then I had a tie between Julie Foudy and Christine Lilly. If I had to choose, I would go with Julie.
Mm-hmm.
To be quite honest with you, I'm not a big fan of either one of them, but I'm lean more towards Julie. And this one, the third one, this is where I mixed it, where like favorite to all-time great. And the only reason maybe she shouldn't be on the list is because she didn't maybe play as long as she could have, would be Lauren Holiday.
Yep.
I think I think that if she could have maybe even played a little bit longer, she could have gone down as one of easily the all-time greats.
I agree 100%.
Figured you'd like that one.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate that. So, thanks for the shout out. I didn't have to say that name. Thanks for doing that. My 3 forwards were probably the easiest selections that I made.
Right.
Okay? And that is Abby Wambach.
Yep.
Michelle Akers.
Yeah.
And Jennings. Is that you got?
Oh, no.
No?
No. So I had Abby, of course.
Yep.
I should have put Akers in there somewhere, right? Because that's kind of bad to leave her off. So I had Mia and Abby, and then I had Tiffany Milbritt.
Okay. She's on honorable mentions for me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Akers is on honorable mentions, which is kind of bad to leave Akers out. But we need more players.
Yep.
We need 13. Sounds like a good number to pick.
13? Yeah.
So who's on your honorable mention list? Tobin?
Yep. Tobin, Foudy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, see, I would put Morgan and Milbritt right there together.
Yeah. Yeah, so would I.
And then Scurry, obviously. Those are my 5 honorable mentions.
No, Scurry's just not even on the list.
Yeah, I didn't figure she would be.
You know who I really wanted to put in as a defender, but this would be going towards all-time favorite?
Who's that?
Krieger.
Yep. I figured. I was thinking that you'd put her on there, but
yeah, no, because that was. I don't even want to go there.
Did I put her in my? So I rank all my favorite players for the NWSL team. Where was she at on my ranking? Let's see.
Are you legitimately asking me because you don't remember, or are you just trying to? I thought she was
trying to buy some time. She's 11 in the NWSL. But no, that's right. I added Ratcliffe. Speaking of Ratcliffe, I'll get a good plug in here for Brittany. She'll be happy that I did this, right? So on FC Kansas City's Snapchat tomorrow, Brittany Ratcliffe has the takeover. So tune in for that. I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. I don't know what to expect from her. So that'll be fun to watch.
When Rachel Daly took over the Dash Snapchat, you see their ping pong table? I think that was the coolest thing. I was so excited about the ping pong table. Yeah.
No, that was great. Even though Rachel wasn't very good. But
no, they were both. Whoever she was playing with was absolutely terrible too.
I think it was Lydia, wasn't it? Lydia Williams, maybe.
They need some work though. That's all right. They're used to using their feet, so we'll give them a break for right now.
That's right.
Baylor's
update on softball. Oklahoma's up 6-2. Baylor with the ground ball to the second baseman to 2 for 1 over to first. She's safe there. Run does score for Baylor, but that's the second out of the inning, and Baylor's down to their final out here in the opening night of the College World Series.
Yeah. Who did you pick in this one? Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm still doing all right. The Wisconsin soccer schedule came out today.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so I figured I would air some, not grievances, but a little disappointment because I got to go to 7 games last year. I drove up to Notre Dame, drove to Illinois State, went to Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, and then went up to Madison for 1 regular season game and the NCAA tournament game. So that was a pretty hefty schedule, and it worked out pretty nice. But this year, it's going to be a little difficult. They play at Drake in the middle of the week, so that's not going to be – I mean, that's a 7-hour drive, so probably not. They are back in Champaign to play at Illinois, so I'll get to go to that game as Oklahoma ends the ball game on ESPN, too. Northwestern and Penn State are the 2 home games I might be able to go to because one of them will be senior day. So I'll try to get up there for one of them, I guess. Probably that Northwestern game. And then they play at Iowa, which is a 5-hour drive. We'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be tough to get to go watch them this year, but I'm going to make every effort. So
predictions for the season.
Well, I think about that. Back to Ratcliffe real quick because now that she's tuned in, since we're talking about her and I gave her that plug, which was unpaid for, no sponsorship right there. Wisconsin plays the Who's. You know who the Who's are?
No.
The Who's, Brittany Ratcliffe's alum Where she graduated school from. I don't know I can't remember.
Yeah, we didn't graduate at all from UW-Madison.
Right. Yeah. Virginia Cavaliers are the Who's.
Oh, I didn't know that they were nicknamed the Who's.
Yeah. Wisconsin plays at Virginia, so I'm currently trying to think of what the bet's going to be. That I tell Brittany that if Wisconsin gets you guys, then you got to send me some like autographed everything.
She's got to come on the podcast.
She's got to come on the podcast. That's going to happen anyway.
Okay.
Because I'm selling I'm selling a Snapchat. That's all. That's good enough, right? But yeah, that could be one. I want signed stuff, and you're coming on and you're calling on the podcast. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't really have to worry about what I'd have to do if Virginia beat Wisconsin, because we'll get into predictions, and obviously Wisconsin's going to be incredible this year.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Chris Henderson tweeted that Wisconsin has the 9th toughest non-con schedule that has been released so far, which is really, I would say probably 50% of schedules have been released. So that's pretty daunting, I guess.
Right.
Especially going to Virginia, who's a perennial powerhouse and just a great program.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am trying to find where I put my depth chart. I'll probably get into it more as the season goes, but we're returning Caitlin Clem, who has a great chance to be all Big Ten senior leadership back there, and she's awesome. So that helps. Lost Sydney McGinnis. She tore her ACL, so she's out for the year. She would have been our lead forward who gets a lot of shots on goal, has a great pace. That's going to be missed. But if Danny Rhodes, the freshman of last year, now sophomore, can improve any, then that's going to be a big help up front. Alexis Ty in the midfield, I've always been impressed by the way she plays, always been a big fan. She really stabilizes things there in the middle. She took over the McKenna Maurer role very nicely, who I was a big fan of, McKenna, and who is now playing over in Sweden. I do need to figure out how she's doing over there. So, but we are also bringing in a couple freshmen who will probably make impacts right away. And Paula Wilkins as coach, I always have trust in her that she will, even if she takes off a couple of the players here and there, will make the right decision and then put up a few more W's than any other coach would be able to do, and hopefully a few more W's than other Big Ten teams will.
Right.
And hopefully we don't tie 24 times like we did last year. So hopefully we can keep that to a minimum, especially when the Cubs are going to the World Series, and I have to speed a little bit too fast because we can't score just one goal against Illinois, but that's besides the point.
Tell us how you really feel, Clay.
I was driving like an Aroldis Chapman fastball. Let's just say that. And that is that's not an exaggeration. But that's it from me. Just to wrap up there. We're at 43 minutes right now. We did want to keep these 35 to 45 minutes. Any idea what we want to talk about on Sunday? Or anything pressing?
Not pressing right now. We didn't talk about, which maybe by Sunday we would have an answer. I'm assuming by Sunday we would have an answer, because I think game start or whatever we play, the soccer team plays next week. Yep. If there were going to be place Morgan. I know we were talking earlier about how, from what I read, they're only dressing 18, so being down Morgan Bryan wasn't going to be that big of a deal. Now that they're down 2, maybe they add another person. I don't know. We'll see, I guess, what Ellis has in mind. Or Krieger. Doesn't really matter which one, but one of them.
That's true. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. We'll see.
Danny makes the most sense. I mean, just because of the positions that we've lost so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she deserves it. So, yeah, we'll see. That'll be something we can talk about on Sunday.
Games, highlights.
Yeah,
all not injuries.
Yeah, right. Let's stop that, and let's quit the heat exhaustion.
Yep.
And everybody be healthy, and let's have a good weekend and a good show on Sunday, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we're kind of getting the Twitter ball rolling.
I see that.
kind of getting the YouTube channel rolling. This will be posted on our YouTube channel, the Hera Press. Our Twitter is at Hera Press. You can get us on there, follow us there. We'll share kind of what we're going to talk about, our videos, a couple of headlines from the week of all the different sports, and our you and I's Twitter is also on there in the bio. So if people want to get that personal, even follow us, I'm sure that would be all right too. So that option is there.
Yes, sir.
But that's it. That's it for me. That's it from Alyssa. Thanks for watching. Did we improve this time?
I think so.
Think that maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
We set the bar pretty high. maybe it's a Sunday thing. Maybe we'll bounce back and push it up even higher on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sundays
let's shoot for that.
Yeah. Sundays are different. Different topics.
That's right. Yep. Okay. We'll do better on Sunday.
We promise.
All right. Thanks for stopping by the Hera Press Box.
Bye.